Hi, and welcome to my webinar on health hacks for more energy. I'm so glad that you could make it with me today. I'm going to share my screen and get this started. All right. Well, this webinar was developed by someone else, and they called it The Entrepreneur's Mind, which I think is a really interesting title for it. I just happened to look at it and realized that it was a completely different topic than what I thought it was going to be. But before we get started, I just want to say thank you, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. And if we haven't met yet, my name is Jennifer Hernandez, and I am a registered dietitian nutritionist. I also have a basically lifelong history of chronic headache and migraine. And a few years back, I really got into functional nutrition and functional medicine and started finding things that helped me to improve. I can't say that they're totally gone, but it really helped me to improve my headaches and migraines through some pretty simple dietary changes. And I'm so excited to be here today to talk with everyone about some things that I've learned and a topic called biohacking. So biohacking maybe is a new term to you, maybe it's something that you've never heard of before. And biohacking is simply searching for an understanding of your body and your mind and using everything that's available to you to help to find ways to improve your health. So whether that's the technology that we have today, different tools, science, right? Scientific research and discoveries that we have, and really help us to become our best self. And in reality, biohacking is like a self-experimentation, right? Oftentimes, if you're into science or if you know much about science, we talked about these big randomized control trials, and that's where people really put their weight, right? They put the weight of the science into those randomized control trials. But if you do enough research, you may find that what works for the general population doesn't work for you as an individual. And so when we're talking about functional health and functional medicine and biohacking, we're really talking about a sample size of one and doing little experiments with yourself to try to improve your body's biology. So why might we want to biohack? Well, the question of why is actually really significant to biohacking. And you really need to understand how you're thinking, how you're feeling, how your body is performing. And understanding that helps to empower you to make changes to your overall health and well-being. So like I said, I went for decades dealing with chronic migraine, chronic headache, and I really didn't get great answers, right? I would go to the doctor, they would give me some sort of medication, the medicine would work for a little while, and then the medicine would stop. And then I would try a new medicine. And that just wasn't the answer that I wanted. And some of the doctors that I saw basically just told me that that's how migraines are and that's how life is. And I just need to accept it. Maybe as you're getting older, you're getting more aches and pains and you're getting exhausted, right? So I kind of improved my migraines, improved my chronic headache to where I no longer have a headache every single day of my life. But then I started getting just exhausted over the last couple of years, and I was so tired. And every single day I either needed a caffeine pick-me-up or a nap, but none of that actually was a lasting fix. None of that actually helped anything. And you know, a lot of people will tell you you just have to accept that. But if you have a biohacker mindset, then you can find ways to overcome this, right? We can find ways to figure out what is going on and overcome these problems that you may be experiencing. And one of the ways is what I've been talking about, functional medicine. And functional medicine is based on experiential knowledge. So the things that we learn, whether that's about ourselves or through reading scientific literature, these help us to figure out how to solve these problems. So if you like to geek out on science like I do, and if you want to say, show me the research behind it, and then I'll try it for myself, well, functional medicine is exactly what you need. And for some of the topics we're going to talk about today, I can definitely provide you with some research and help you to discover answers for yourself. So when we look at functional medicine, we're really taking an entire body approach to health, right? We're not just looking at the one problem, but we're really looking at what's going on in the body as a whole and trying to figure out how to create a wellness plan. Now, when we are trying to biohack for more energy, there's really two major areas that we are going to look at. We are going to look at reducing inflammation so your body runs more smoothly, and we're going to look at supporting your mitochondria. Okay, so mitochondria are the powerhouses of the cell. Every body cell has mitochondria, and these mitochondria take the nutrients that we eat, specifically the carbohydrates, the protein, and the fat, and they release the energy from those nutrients and turn it into the type of energy that our body uses, which is called ATP. Now, as we age, our mitochondria might not work as well, right? And so then we start getting tired. And so biohacking is a method of figuring out what we can do to really boost that mitochondria so that our bodies have more energy. Now, one key thing to note about biohacking is that it really emphasizes our individuality, right? Because what might happen in my body is not necessarily going to happen in your body. For instance, I cannot eat peppermint. Okay, I would love to have a peppermint hot chocolate right now, but that peppermint is going to give me a migraine. Hopefully, the same is not true for you, right? So as a biohacker, we look at our bodies as an experiment, and we do little experiments to see what happens and see what we can do to improve the overall function of our body. So if you're someone who is really intrigued by this idea, who is interested in that complex system of our body, then biohacking might be for you. Now, we do want to keep a few things in mind as we embark on our biohacking journey. And the first one is to listen to your own body, right? When it comes to biohacking, it's really about making small changes and doing just these slight things, right? We're not trying to overhaul every single thing all at the same time, right? So we want to take the least change possible to get the most significant effect. Now, if you are chronically ill, or you're just not generally in touch with your body, there are some different things that you can do. You can use health tracker apps. I know for me, I never would have discovered that, say, peppermint gives me migraines without some help of some medical tests. Now, the second consideration that you want to use is to work with, or to keep in mind, is to work with a biohacking friendly healthcare provider, right? You want to make sure that you're working with somebody who knows what's going on with your overall health so that they can keep an eye on whatever problems that you have that either you already know about or maybe other underlying conditions that need to be monitored. Okay, so we've talked about what is biohacking. Now let's get into some of our techniques and ways that we can get started with biohacking. Are you ready? The first one, may not be something that you were expecting me to talk about. But the first one is to have regular time that you spend thinking about things that you are grateful for in life. This has been shown to have power to improve your overall outlook on life, improve your relationships. So maybe one thing you can do is start your day every morning with some gratitude journaling. It doesn't have to be, a lengthy journaling process. You don't have to set aside 30 minutes, but maybe you just jot down 5 things in the morning that you're grateful for. This is going to change your frame of mind, right? If you can make a commitment to mentally list or hopefully write it out, 5 points of gratitude every morning for 30 days, your whole outlook on life is going to change. And that's going to help to boost your overall health and well-being. Now, somewhat related to gratitude is meditation. Meditation has been scientifically proven to impact both your health and your happiness. It has been shown to reduce inflammation in the body, and inflammation can cause those aches and pains. I had a shoulder injury, years ago. And every once in a while it would just flare up, and I never really had a rhyme or a reason for why it would flare up. And I did a food sensitivity test and started eliminating these foods that were inflammatory to my body in the hopes of getting rid of my migraines and my headache, and wasn't even thinking about my shoulder. And actually my shoulder pain was the first thing that went away because I had underlying inflammation in my shoulder. Now, low-lying inflammation can also contribute to the development of things like heart disease. So wouldn't it be great if something as easy as meditation could reduce the inflammation? It can also boost our immune function, reduce immune cell aging, and influence gene expression. So when we talk about gene expression, we are talking about the turning on and off of different things that our DNA codes for, right? So sometimes we want to turn on genes and sometimes we want to turn them off. And sometimes inflammation can turn on the wrong genes and turn off the wrong genes. So realistically, the benefits of meditation are pretty great. So if you've never meditated before, if this is not your thing, I'm going to give you, quick and easy tip. First of all, find a place to sit or lie down comfortably, right? Make yourself nice and comfortable, and then close your eyes. Now here's the key. Maybe you've heard people that breathe very specifically. Maybe you've got a smartwatch like me and it tells you to breathe, right? And it tells you when to breathe in and when to breathe out. Ignore that and just breathe naturally. Pay attention, focus on your breath, right? How it feels when you inhale and when you exhale. Okay, that was some pretty deliberate breathing, right? But we're going to try to breathe naturally. Now, as you breathe, you want to notice what happens in your body. Pay attention to what happens into your chest, your shoulders, your belly, the movement of all of those things. And just focus your attention on your breath. Now, your mind will likely wander, right? And when your mind wanders, that's fine. Acknowledge it and bring your focus back to your breath. If you don't have a meditation practice, start with a minute or two, right? And then gradually work up to longer periods of meditation. All right, now we're going to get into some more tricky things. How about intermittent fasting, right? So some of these techniques are going to work for people and not everything is going to work for everyone. Because remember, biohacking is about individuality. Okay, so is intermittent fasting right for you? Well, you're not going to know until you try it. And if you're thinking you can't fast, you can't go without food, well, intermittent fasting is taking somewhere between 12 and 16 hours between two of your meals. So let's say that you stop eating right now. So I'm on Mountain Standard Time. It is 8:45 p.m. I don't know what time it is where you are, or if you're watching the replay. Might not work so well if you're watching the replay, but it's 8:45 p.m. If I don't eat breakfast until let's say I just ate, and I don't eat breakfast until 8:45 tomorrow morning, that's 12 hours. I just did intermittent fasting. And intermittent fasting helps your body to repair itself. It actually gives your GI tract a break, and it allows your body to make some repairs. Another thing that intermittent fasting does is it helps to improve insulin sensitivity. So if you're not familiar with this concept, insulin is a hormone that your body needs to bring glucose into body cells. And in some people, the body cells don't recognize insulin very well. And so we call them impaired insulin sensitivity, right? And so intermittent fasting can actually improve insulin sensitivity so that we get that glucose out of the bloodstream where it doesn't exactly belong and into the body cells so that we can use it for energy. Now, another way that we can biohack is sweating. All right, so we are bombarded on a daily basis with toxins, right? There's environmental toxins, there's toxins in our food, there's heavy metals. If you have amalgam or those silver fillings, those could be releasing toxins into your body. And sweating is one way that our bodies can get rid of some of those toxins. So you can sweat by exercising, you can sweat by going to a sauna. It's not the right time of year for sweating, right? But in Arizona in the summertime, you can sweat just by stepping out the doors, right? And so when we sweat and release these toxins from our body, we can help to clear these things that are preventing our cells from working properly. Now, if we choose to sweat by exercising, we get that extra cardiovascular benefit. We are working our heart, and it helps to improve heart health and reduce our risk for heart conditions. Another biohacking technique is to get enough sleep. So 7 to 8 hours of sleep, quality sleep every night is so important for your health. So in addition to your bloodstream, we have another circulatory system called the lymphatic system. And the lymphatic system clears toxins from our brain. They're called neurotoxins, and they impact our brain. And that system is going to clear those out when we are in our deepest stages of sleep. Okay, so sleep can really help to protect the brain. Now, if you're like me and you've got some trouble sleeping, really having a good, solid bedtime routine can help you to get some better sleep. All right, does anybody know what the sunshine vitamin is? It's vitamin D, and vitamin D is actually more of a hormone than a vitamin. So hormones are chemical messengers. They're kind of like light switches in your body where they turn systems on and off. And vitamin D is so important that every single tissue in your body has a vitamin D receptor. Now, you may have heard that you can make enough vitamin D by just going out into the sun. But here's the thing. First of all, you have to have a healthy kidney and a healthy liver to make vitamin D. But also, the further we get away from the equator, the harder it is to get enough ultraviolet exposure to convert vitamin D to its active form. And most people live far enough north, okay, most Americans live far enough north that they are not going to be able to make adequate vitamin D for at least 2/3 of the year. Now, when you consider the fact that you probably also put sunblock on, which you definitely should, when you go out in the sun, that further inhibits vitamin D. So why do we need vitamin D? Well, it helps us with our energy. It helps to fight off disease and reduce depression. So you may want to look into taking a high quality vitamin D supplement, because the chances of you being vitamin D either deficient or marginally deficient are pretty good. Now, another supplement to consider is omega-3. So you may have heard that fats are bad, but not all fats are created the same. And omega-3 fatty acids are super beneficial to brain health. The main place that we're going to find omega-3 fatty acids is from fatty fish like salmon. Now, if you're not a regular seafood eater, if you don't eat fish a few times a week, then you might want to find a good quality fish oil supplement that contains EPA and DHA. These are anti-inflammatory fatty acids, and they help to protect our cells from damage to our DNA. Now, we want to make sure it's a really high quality omega-3 fatty acid supplement, because fish oils can go rancid easily. There could also be heavy metal contamination. So if you are looking for supplements, I would love to point you toward some supplements that I find to be a good quality. So another thing that could help you on your biohacking journey is staying away from blue lights. Now, you can get blue light blockers. I actually have a pair right here. I don't have them on right now because all you would get is the reflection in my glasses. But I have these blue light blockers that I just bought on Amazon, and they weren't terribly expensive. You can find them in all price ranges, and they help to block the blue light that comes from your screen, whether that's your TV, your computer monitor, or your phone. Now, these blue light blockers aren't necessarily going to reduce inflammation in your body, and they're not necessarily going to change your mitochondria, but blue light impairs our circadian rhythms, and blue lights can impair our sleep. And we just learned how important sleep is to our health and energy levels. If you wear prescription glasses, you can get a blue light filter added to your prescription lenses as well. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum is red light. And red light therapy does improve your mitochondria and reduce inflammation. So we can take near infrared light and help turn it into cellular energy. If you would like to learn more about near infrared therapy, I've got an article that I can share with you. Now, next question, what do you drink? Drinking pure water can benefit everyone, right? Water is an essential nutrient. It helps our bodies to run smoothly. Our bodies are made up of about 70% water, right? So we need a lot of water. And most people probably drink other liquids other than just water. So this is a pretty easy biohack that most people can do. Now, I know there are people out there that say they just don't like water and they can't drink plain water. That's fine. Get some citrus, right? Get some sort of fruit, and you can make your own. Cucumber as well is another good one, melon, and make your own fruit infused water with natural fruits as opposed to doing sugar sweetened beverages. All right, so remember, when it comes to biohacking, we want to be safe. Okay, so we know that there are clinical trials out there. There are scientific research studies that have shown that mindfulness, meditation can help reduce anxiety and chronic pain. And so if you hear of any tips and techniques, be sure to do your own research before you decide to start something. Talk to a healthcare professional, make sure that you can do the biohacking technique safely. Every single body is created differently, And it's really important to take the time to think about your own body and your own unique situation before you start doing too many things in terms of biohacking. There are so many techniques and tricks that you can use to help biohack your body to better health. And remember that as you biohack, to make small changes and pay close attention to how you feel in each step of the way. If you want to get started on biohacking and reducing inflammation in your body, you can do an elimination diet, which again, we want to make sure we're doing safely and not eliminating essential nutrients, just foods that might be inflammatory. If you feel like you eat well and you sleep well and you just still don't have enough energy, I would love to share some additional resources with you. So please reach out to me so that I can share some more tips and tricks about biohacking for you. Now, I've got some references, some things that you can learn more about biohacking and references that were used in making this presentation. And I'm going to post them in the comments so that you can come back and read those so that you can do your own research on your biohacking journey. All right, we made it to the end of today's discussion about biohacking. Please post your questions on this video. I would love to answer any questions you have. If you don't want to post them publicly, feel free to message me and I will again be happy to answer those questions. Please share your number one takeaway from this event. What did you learn? What do you think you can implement? And again, if you would like to learn more about biohacking, I have some more information that I would love to share with you. So thank you again, and I wish you wonderful health, and I would love to help in whatever way I can. Thank you.